Welcome to another movie plot and enjoy the memories. It begins in the Dark Ages with the immortal Lord of Light Geser leading his army to the center of a bridge. They're met there by the General of Darkness Zavulon and his army of vampires, witches and other supernatural creepies. A violent battle took place which Zavi relished in, but Geser could see that they were so evenly matched none of their soldiers would be making it home alive. He freezes everybody on the battlefield and enters peace negotiations with Zavulon in some poor foot soldier's ear. They agree that nobody should ever be forced to choose good or evil and must do that for themselves, and that the soldiers of light keeping this truce would be called Night Watch while the agents of darkness doing the same would be called Day Watch. Go figure. 1,000 years later, some loser named Anton just lost his wife to another man, so he takes it well and goes to visit a dark witch. Mariya says that Anton's wife is also pregnant with the other man's kid and the spell will kill it, but he still agrees as he thinks this is all fake anyway. He assumes that she's just talking crap, but one blood cocktail later shows him visions that everything she told him was true. Irina gets tortured by Mariya, but before the hag can clap her hands to finish the spell, two invisible Night Watch restrain her. An 8-legged agent of darkness helps its master, but a third Night Watch named Rina transforms into a tiger and uses a burning pan to prevent the clap. They tie up Mariya, but when Anton asks who the strangers are, it amazes Ilya and Simeon that he can even see them there. Only people called others can see the Night Watch, as like most supernatural beings they operate on a parallel plane of existence known as the Gloom. Anton just slipped into it by accident, and we flash forward 12 years to him now working as the most active agent in the Night Watch. He receives orders from headquarters that a young boy named Yegor is being lured by a vampire with something called the Dark Call. Anton must locate Yegor, so the seer tries to drink blood that allows him to also feel the vampire's call, but he's out of the red stuff. He asks his blood-sucking neighbor Kostya to help him out, so he takes him to his father's butcher, assuming that he's also becoming a vampire like them. The man gives Anton a jar of pig's blood, then warns his son about the agent, as Night Watch only ever drink it when it comes time to hunting their kind. It causes Anton to feel blood drunk, so he stumbles around the metro until picking up the same dark call as Yegor and tracking him down. Despite having fangs wanting to chew this guy's ear off and seeing only the blood in Yegor's veins, Anton isn't a vampire but walks a very thin line. Rush hour causes Anton to lose sight of the boy, so he turns an ultraviolet light on Svetlana, but she isn't the vampire that he's searching for. She does, however, give him intense visions of a vortex of crows above her apartment building, but he can't get distracted and needs to continue his mission. He's pulled up by cops who try to arrest him for being disorderly, but Anton vomits up huge amounts of blood which they really don't want to deal with. They let him go, and Anton begins to have visions of the boy being drained of his blood by two vampires beckoning him from a barbershop. Andrei coerces his recently turned girlfriend Larissa into taking her first drink, but Anton alerts the Night Watch to the location before kicking the door in. He uses the flashlight to pull the agents of darkness out of the gloom, but gets attacked by Andrei with a pair of scissors and brought to his knees. He kicks the vampire's front teeth out in return as Olyalin and Simeon race across town and almost run over Zavulon on the way, but he's too powerful to become roadkill and there's no time for the Night Watch to stop. A conflicted Larissa helps her boyfriend, who walks in and out of the gloom, making it difficult for Anton to lock down his location. Defeated by Andrei, the Night Watch uses his flashlight but accidentally just burns the vamp who's trying to prevent her boyfriend from murdering him. Anton's about to be finished off when backup arrives and he reflects the ultraviolet headlights into the vampire, causing him to turn to dust. The Night Watch carry Anton back to the truck when one of the Day Watch arrive to charge him with excessive force, but his friends tell Peter to piss off. They take the gravely wounded Anton to Lord Geser, who's now head of the city's light and power company and tends to his recruit. When hearing about the vortex, Geser creates a mind link with a piece of tape and belt so that he can see the girl from the subway. He concludes that she's the woman from an ancient prophecy that says the final battle for good and evil is about to begin. She's been cursed to bring misfortune wherever she goes, and thousands of years ago the same vortex is what birthed the first forces of darkness into the world. The legend says that a powerful other will need to choose between light and dark, but if he joins the side of darkness the world will end. Meanwhile, Peter's attending a concert held by the witch Elisa, who when the show's over gets contacted by their general Zavulon. He tasks her with finding the half-burnt vampire Larissa, who's out there wandering the streets in desperate need of fresh blood. They toss her out a jar of blood onto the road and a pair of Yegor's swimming goggles so that she may use them to sniff him out. A still injured Anton attempts to leave and save the boy, so Geser gives him a stuffed owl named Olga for backup. Anton's not impressed, but it comes alive at first as an owl and that night takes human form in a very messy transformation. Olga's a mage of the light who specializes in curses and was imprisoned as the taxidermy because of some crime that she committed 60 years ago. Geser has given her this chance to atone by partnering with Anton, who borrows some of Kostya's mother's clothes for the naked guest. Kostya expresses his frustration that Anton killed Andrei after it was the Night Watch who gave the vamp permission to convert his girl in the first place. Anton was just following Geser's orders, who's shown having operatives track down Svetlana by the vortex growing above her apartment building. She's a doctor who lives with her controlling mother, but everybody's been falling sick around her recently as somebody cursed her. In the most random event of the movie, a plane hits a crow, destroying the engine and causing a rivet to fall all the way through the ventilation and into Svetlana's coffee. We then jump to Yegor's apartment building, where we see that his mother's Anton's ex-wife from 12 years ago and is unable to find a babysitter. She figures that Yegor's old enough now to take care of himself, despite the terrified kid questioning her over and over if vampires are real. Irina still chooses to leave him home alone watching Buffy slaying vampires of all things, and doesn't see Larissa arriving as she leaves. The vampire makes it all the way up to the apartment door and begins banging on it, but she still needs to be invited inside. Anton and Olga arrive, but the vampire's gone, so they use the gloom to pass through the door, where they find Yegor inside sharpening a stake. He's also already inside the gloom and can see the two, meaning that he's another, but is too young to remain there for very long and gets consumed by it. Olga tells Anton to feed his blood to the gloom to distract it, so he hacks into his arm, allowing them to pull Yegor back through to reality. As the mage teaches the boy about the light and darkness, Anton notices a photo of Irina and realizes that the 12-year-old boy could possibly be his son. After saying his goodbyes to the kid, Anton and Olga get substituted with Bear and Tiger Cub to protect Yegor from Larissa returning. They get a lift with Simeon when the worker at the nearby power plant gets the sudden news that his mother's been killed. The man neglects his duties, letting the building explode and plunging the entire city into complete darkness, almost like it was planned. The Night Watch survives being so close to the destruction and arrives at their new headquarters, set up at some random family's dinner frozen in time. Anton takes a look at his file on the computer and learns that Yegor's his biological son, as the witch lied to him about Irina's baby daddy. He reports to Lord Geser and finds Zavulon hiding in the shadows, as the two are working together to bring down the vortex. Geser makes him rather aggressively give Anton a necklace of protection against the darkness before departing to go be a menace somewhere else. The Night Watch is ordered to find out who cursed Svetlana, or else he's going to have to murder the innocent woman to end the growing vortex. He gains access to her apartment by telling the doctor that he's a patient in need of medical treatment, but she soon realizes that he's lying. Explaining that she's been cursed, Svetlana realizes that she accidentally did it to herself by wishing her mother dead so that she could live a normal life. Now understanding what's going on, the newfound other's able to lift the curse, returning the lights and allowing the struggling airplane to finally land. Larissa sends a call to Yegor, who distracts the guards by making Ilya feel insecure about losing his clothes when he transforms into a bear. Rena comforts him while the boy sneaks out the window and climbs up a fire escape to Larissa before the Night Watch reach him. When the couple get onto the rooftop, the vampire doesn't want to bite the kid but threatens to do it unless they bring her Anton. Since he was coming here anyway, Anton arrives quickly and throws away his necklace of protection to show his good faith. Larissa begs to be human again and talks about how messed up it was to kill her boyfriend after giving him a license to turn her. She questions why nobody will let her drink Yegor, but it's because he's the one whose choice to join the dark or light will seal the fate of the world. Just then Zavulon arrives and takes the elevator to the roof, where it plows into it and knocks everybody off their feet. As Anton rises with a UV tube and a blacked out surrounding, he comes face to face with the General of Darkness. Zavulon breaks his neck and draws his spine as a sword, and the two get overlaid with armor amongst a battle atop the apartment building. The same soldiers are shown fighting from the beginning, and the building turns into a bridge resting high above the city of Moscow. Since Anton's only using a light bulb, he's obviously defeated. However, Zavulon is only pretending to want to kill him. When Yegor attempts to return the necklace of protection to his father, Anton pulls out a knife and goes for Zavulon, but he changes places with the boy. He prevents Anton from killing him and allows Alicia to reveal how Anton attempted to use dark magic to abort him 12 years ago. Zavulon orchestrated everything from the beginning to get them to this moment, and was even shown playing a video game depicting the same ending. Yegor ignores his father's warnings and joins the dark side, saying that Anton is even worse than them because he only pretends to be good. Realizing that he set this all up to obtain his child's trust, Anton begins laying into Zavi, who doesn't fight back as he's already won. The Great Other chose the side of evil, which legend says will plunge the world into darkness, but we have a sequel for that. And the movie ends.